Hi, I'm Simon Mateo, and today we're talking about critical race theory. So, with Black Spectatorship by Manthea Diawara, watching the Watermelon Woman and sitting through the lecture, it's pretty clear that black representation in the film has come a long way, but it also hasn't moved far enough. Let's start with what's changed. First, we now have more black filmmakers telling their own stories. In The Watermelon Woman, Cheryl Dunn doesn't just direct, she's literally in the film, shaping the narrative from a black lesbian perspective. That kind of authorship would have been almost impossible when Diawara wrote his essay in the 80s. Second, we're starting to see more multidimensional black characters. Cheryl in The Watermelon Woman isn't a stereotype. She's funny, awkward, complicated. She's figuring out her identity and digging into forgotten black film history, not just reacting to white characters. But even with progress, some problems haven't gone away. A lot of mainstream media still positions black characters as psychics or as trauma porn. Like in Get Out, Jordan Peele flips the script on racism and horror, but the fact that the film had to be that direct tells you how often black characters are still written into victim roles. Also, black identity still sometimes gets flattened for white audiences. Diawara writes about how black characters are often shaped for the pleasure of white male spectators. You can still see that happening in films that tokenize blackness without actually engaging with black culture in a real way, like having a diverse cast, but never going beyond surface level representation. A film that I really like that shows these representations, though, is my favorite film of all time, Moonlight, made in 2016 and directed by Barry Jenkins. Moonlight talks about Chiron, a young gay black kid that sort of is in the poorer parts of Florida, and he basically travels through his adolescence. It follows his story in 3 parts: when he was a kid, a teen, and then finally adult. But stories like this can really emphasize this black spectatorship with putting black people not on this pedestal, but showing the humanization of it, which will allow like the white male spectators to finally learn what it's like. But they never will, but the best you can do is help someone understand. But back to The Watermelon Woman, Diawara talks about how black audiences have to develop a kind of resistant spectatorship, like watching critically, pushing back mentally against the images they're shown. The Watermelon Woman is actually an act of resistance in itself. Cheryl's search for the fictional Faye Richards exposes how black women's stories have been erased from history, and she's reclaiming that space through filmmaking. So we've definitely made progress. Black creators are telling their own stories now more than ever, but the need for resistance hasn't gone away. Films like The Watermelon Woman, Moonlight, and Get Out aren't just about representation. They're about rewriting history, questioning power, and forcing the audience to think harder.